is it going to be before I ban you?
I'm on a mission to stop child mutilation.
And Taylor?
Yeah, very much not on topic.
We're on a mission to stop brain on a mission to stop brain mutilization of idiot globers like yourself. There you go, Slappy.
Getting dumber and dumber, man. It's crazy.
This call may be recorded or monitored for quality assurance. Please hold on for our next available team member and we'll with you momentarily.
Please don't call the FBI on us.
No, please do. Send one of them in here with their globe proof and see if they don't answer with the same stupid.
Was dialing in
the hotline.
They'll have the same idiot answers for the globe that anyone else does, so bring them in.
Wait, I'm just what values do we need to know to calculate the angle of elevation?
What do you mean, what values?
See, you have no clue. You've got no clue what celestial navigation is.
Yeah,
and you're coming in here and you're trying to reinvent it. You're trying to take away the 90-degree angles that it uses, and now you're asking us questions. Well, how does it work?
Yeah, how do you? What values do you need? What values do you need to know to calculate this?
You know how to use a sextant.
Well,
you need to know how to use a sextant.
Do you need the hypotenuse or the adjacent?
You need to know how to identify one of the stars that is used for celestial navigation. And then you will use an almanac to get the ground position of that star, the 90-degree position of that star. And then you will use an angle measurement to the star, subtract it from 90 to get your elevation angle, multiplied by 60 nautical miles. Those are linear, like in a straight line, nautical miles. And that'll give you a circle of equal elevation. And then you'll need to do it at least one more time, but possibly two more times with other stars to get your position. And you're going to get two more or one more right angle triangle to deal with. And that's what you're going to have. You got a 50-degree elevation angle. That's a 3,000 nautical mile circle.
All right, so this kid doesn't know anything about celestial navigation. So I'm going to ask a few questions if I could. So do you know anything about a sextant?
I don't. Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what an elevation angle is. He thinks you have to calculate it somehow.
I know, Rad. That's why I'm going to walk him through real slowly. So, okay, so a sextant is basically like a protractor. You know what a protractor is, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I see the picture above, so
Okay.
I have an idea.
Okay, so a protractor. So the sextant, you measure angles with this device. So when you're out at sea, the first step is you locate your horizon through the rangefinder. So basically, you're looking through like a telescope.
Okay.
You find the horizon, and then you zero your device to the horizon. Okay?
Yes.
So now you're out at sea. So now you've zeroed your horizon. Now you raise up your device. You raise the protractor and you find the star that you're going to be charting with. You find that celestial body and you bring that down to the horizon. There are basically a couple of different mirrors on this device. So you can be looking at those two things at the same time. So you line up the celestial body with the horizon exactly, and then you measure the angle. Okay?
Okay, yeah. So you're leveling it, and then you measure the angle to the star, to the horizon.
Yep. And what you're leveling it with is the horizon. So get an idea. So Jedi just posted something, gives you a good idea of how this is actually done at 5 minutes after the hour. So it's showing you exactly what you're doing. The horizon. C, celestial body. Now, you have a line of sight. Like, we know that lines of sight are straight. They're not curving. So the thing is, you're making an elevation angle, like QE was so graciously trying to impart to you about the elevation angle. So you're measuring that elevation angle. Someone else said that you look up information in the nautical almanacs and you find out where the GP of that star is. At any particular time of day, it has it listed. Then you're able to find out your distance to the GP. So the GP is a ground position. In other words, that's the exact spot on the Earth where that celestial body is directly above it. The zenith of that celestial body. So directly below that celestial body is the GP of the star.
Sorry. You're using the. I'm sorry. I just because we didn't quite touch on it, which is when you're using a sextant and you're finding that angle of elevation to the star that you're using.
Right.
This is to find your latitude, right?
Not exactly. You will find your latitude that way, but basically, I mean, you can find it that way, but here's the thing. You're actually navigating along on a chart, on your chart table. The chart is mimicking the surface that you're traveling on. The horizontal plane that you just zeroed your sextant out onto. This is why this is very important. This is why that adjacent, in other words, that Z angle or whatever, I might get those angles wrong in the coordinate system, but directly in front of you, I guess that's the x-axis.
Well, wait. I guess. Well, what is the sextant what are you trying to find with the sextant?
Trying to find your position.
The whole purpose is you're trying to find your position on a chart. Now, the chart is flat. The horizon has to be flat as well. That's how you measure elevation angle. You cannot measure elevation angle from a curved surface because you cannot have a 90 degrees from a curved surface. It's impossible.
Well, okay. I guess here's the thing that I was saying earlier that I'm going to try to be direct with it is like we're talking about an angle and the sextant is being used to measure that angle, right?
Elevation angle.
Yes. And what I'm trying to get at is
what is an elevation angle? Maybe we should start there to make sure you're on the right track.
Well, I'm trying to say it's just an angle, right?
It's not. That's where you're wrong.
Wrong.
Okay.
You're wrong. So stop right there. We don't need to listen to any more of your nonsense. An elevation angle is a right angle triangle. That's what you're going to use. So don't try and reinvent this wheel. Stop it.
But what's the right angle? Where is the right angle used in that? In the
90 degrees.
Yeah,
no, but in the sextant to find the latitude.
Hold on, Shouting Pony. I'll tell you exactly where it is. The right triangle is directly at where the GP of the star, up to the star, and then through the horizontal plane back to your location. Those are 90 degrees.
What did we use the right angle for?
Because you have a zenith of the star. In other words, you have a ground position of the star. That's where the star is directly above you at your zenith. The ground position of that star is directly below the star itself. That's straight up and down. It's not angled, straight up and down. And then the horizon that you zeroed your sextant out is another line straight to where the GP is. That's the 90-degree angle.
Yep.
I have to keep. I have to just
relax. Just relax. Somebody made a good point. I forgot to define the elevation angle. So at 9 minutes after the hour, there's definitions of the elevation angle there. You want me to read through them?
Well, if you can find one that says 90 degrees, yes.
Doesn't have to. Elevation angle is the angle between the horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the vertical plane, from radartutorial.eu. Next one, GCSE 2021 edition. An angle of elevation is the angle from the lower object to the higher one, while an angle of depression is the angle from the higher object to the lower one. Both angles are measured with respect to the horizontal plane of the reference object. From Bygis, the angle of elevation is widely used concept related to height and distance, especially in trigonometry. It is defined as the angle between the horizontal plane and an oblique line from the observer's eye to some object above his eye. Last one. Suss design. The altitude angle, sometimes referred to as the solar elevation angle, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. End of citations.
Now, that does seem to imply that two of your citations mentioned that it would be in respect to one of the observers.
Oh my God!
It's
where is a horizontal plane on a sphere?
Well, if the sphere is big enough, it might. There's a lot of level points on it, right? There's an infinite number of.
No.
Is it right?
No. Listen.
Yeah?
No. Listen.
Wouldn't there be?
Listen.
No.
Shut up for a second. Hold on. Shut up for a second. Listen. The people that make these navigational charts have done so through hundreds of years of trial and error of these elevation angles from the horizontal. If they got the angle wrong by an nth of a degree, guess what happens? They run into the fucking rocks and they sink. And everybody on board dies. And then the next boat coming by says, oh shit, they made a mistake. We better correct for this. How far off to the left or right or north, south, whatever, were we off? And they corrected it. So they corrected those charts, those almanacs, the navigational almanacs, nautical almanac. They adjusted them until they got it correctly, so you could actually navigate with these right triangles through elevation angles into a port of a harbor when it was socked in with fog. Well, you can't see the celestial net. You can't see the star if it's socked in with fog, but you could basically navigate your way into a harbor without seeing the harbor itself, as long as you can see the elevation angle.
Yeah, that's all well and fine. That's all well and fine. Can he tell us, sidestep my question, can you please post a horizontal plane on a sphere?
No, I can't.
Yeah, because it's a contradiction in terms.
Well, I think part of it would be that if the sphere was big enough, right?
No.
It would appear
No,
to be
no
horizontal,
appearance.
right?
There's no appearance here. There are
Well,
no
yeah,
horizontal planes. There are
Yeah.
no horizontal planes on a sphere. No,
Yeah, 100%. I 100%. Yeah, I agree.
Welcome to Flat Earth. Snacks are in the back. Bathrooms on the
No,
left.
but things can
requests. Smoke 'em if you got
be.
'em.
Things
You
can
can talk
appear.
right through me, but it doesn't matter. It's all over.
Things can appear to be horizontal.
Appear to be. Where does the appear to be in my citation?
But they're not. They're not horizontal. I'm just saying they.
Oh, so they're
look
not
like they're
horizontal. So
they just
you're
look
in
like
direct
they're horizontal.
violation of third grade geometry.
No, I'm saying that they look horizontal.
They look
Define
horizontal.
horizontal.
because They're horizontal.
Define horizontal.
Uh-oh.
He can't right now. He'll look into
I don't
that.
even know. Yeah.
So
yeah.
listen, hold on. One last thing before I go.
Okay.
Hold on. One last thing before I go. So I mentioned to you that you're navigating using a flat navigational chart and these elevation angles from the horizontal. You're saying, what if it was curved and it just looked horizontal? Do you see? Can you like draw a piece of paper, have a piece of paper, draw a straight line, and then below it, draw a curved line? And tell me that those locations are the same location. You can't.
Well, I'm sorry. I lost your analogy.
Listen, you're navigating along a straight line toward the horizontal. Mark an X on that horizontal line on your paper. And then go below it where the curved line is. They're not the same location. If
Sonny.
The surface, hold on, almost done. If the surface was actually curved and you were navigating using the horizontal and elevation angles, you would be off your location. It doesn't matter. Remember what I said? An nth of a degree off, and you've run into the rocks. You missed your island.
Wait, two things. So, one, I think you missed a part of what I said, which was if it's big enough, right? If it's a large enough circle, it would appear to be Wait, I'm almost done.
Fucking up. I'm almost done fucking up. Let me fuck up some more.
Okay.
We're trying to help you, dude, but if you want to fucking throw yourself under the triangle, do it.
Sorry, the first thing was it needs to be big enough, so it can't be done on a piece of paper. I don't. The second thing is, I am still talking about the difference between an angle and a triangle, and the thing that you guys are talking about is the angle of elevation, and it's specifically not mentioned in any of your citations.
Yeah, it is.
But it's the
Harold
triangle
Jacobi.
of elevation.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Harold Jacobi. Yes, it is.
Wait, where's that? Wait, maybe Sonny.
Maybe shut up.
Maybe Sonny's a little better.
I posted it to you, right? And then you went off on your idiot red herring. Then you went off on your idiot red herring fallacy about circle routes, and then all or nothing fallacies. That's what you did. Remember?
I just think Sonny might be able to communicate these ideas better.
I communicated them right. You would fail intro to third grade geometry. Game, set, and match. Period. It's already over.
I think we're done with this guy. I'm pretty sure he's wasting our time now. He has been given no end of citations, and he's not listening, not paying attention, won't even read anything back to us that he agrees with or anything. Just nonsense. Give him 1,000 citations, and he says, but angles.
Should have just stopped at angle. We agree it's an angle. Yeah, it's an angle. Awesome. Vulcan's flat Earth.
When rockets go to space, they don't go to space. They go into the ocean.
If he wants to flip the triangles over, he can be a flat side of the triangle on the bloody bottom.
Jetty, you caught me off guard.
You like that one, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Good stuff.
Oh my god. They go to your sisters.
It's up there with one of my best. I like that one.
We got Miggy coming in here every evening, right? And he's saying, "What's up?" I'm sitting there, Miggy. You gotta stop saying it. What's happening would be better. It would be more appropriate.
Yeah. Because your sister's ankles are getting awful tired of being up all the time.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and she's still wearing my good shoes. Damn it.
She wore those shoes out walking to my house, mate.
I know, right? That's why they're all muddy, huh, QE?
Yeah, you're going back in the day, man. That's copyrighted.
I heard the whole story. I have a memory like an elephant, except if it's yesterday. Well, I've got to go. I'll catch you guys on the rebound a little bit later.
All right, later on, Sonny.
Bye, Sonny.
Yep.
Is anyone there?
No, no one's here.
Then.
So, if the Earth is a globe, then why does the Mapimi silent zone exist?
If the Earth is a globe, would it not be a globe if it's a globe, or would it be a globe if it's a globe?
It's a pretty simple question. I don't know why you can't answer it.
I don't even understand what he said, to be honest.
You said, so if the Earth is a globe, is it a globe or not a globe if it's a globe?
What? If it is a globe, what?
If the Earth is a globe, would it be a globe or not a globe if it's a globe?
If the Earth is a globe, would it be a globe or not a globe?
Yeah.
If the Earth was a globe, then It wouldn't make any sense to me. So
why would you ask a question then that inside your own worldview doesn't make any sense at all?
You didn't even address what I said.
Yeah, I did. You said if the Earth is a globe. I'm like, sure. So if the Earth is a globe, would it be a globe or not a globe if it's a globe?
That's not what I said, though.
Yeah, you start off if it's a globe.
I want you to read back
globe
what
or not a globe?
I just want you to repeat what I said so I know you understood. Like
the very first part. Start the very first if. If this, then that.
Okay, so
if it's a globe.
So then you're just ignoring what I said then.
So if it's a globe, would it be a globe or not a globe?
Dude, what you're saying is gibberish and doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's highlighting that your question is just garbage. Completely vacuous garbage.
You know I'm on your side, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
dumb people on all sides can say all kinds of dumb shit.
So, yeah. Something wrong with you, dude.
No, it's like your idea is a hot garbage, and now you know.
Okay,
that
so
if you start
who
off
exactly are you here to like? If you're against other flat earthers,
I'm not
exactly
against anyone. I'm just letting you know that if you start off with if the Earth is a globe and end up with not a globe, that is retard logic.
Dude,
Wait, I have a question.
The stuff you're saying is retarded in any way. Like, doesn't even make the question doesn't even make any fucking sense.
Yeah, because your if was completely retarded.
Dude, what was the second part of the question I asked you?
The first part's dumb.
What was the second? Yeah, so you don't
If
even
you're
remember.
Gonna show an if, show that motherfucker.
You're just being a schizo.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
Let's see the if. So if the Earth is a globe, okay, show it.
Read back what I said in the second part with my sentence when I asked it.
Hold on a couple seconds, Cookie, until we get this squared away.
Yeah, I think the guy needs to think about this. Move on to a caller who isn't just an abject retard.
That's a big ask. Go ahead, Cookie.
I just wanted to ask why this VC is always botted to shit.
Bots?
Holy shit. Never mind. Back to the first person.
Tell everyone in here to unmute then, if they're not bots.
Unmute. Well, okay, watch me.
We run a tight ship here, and we don't have audio chaos, and we try to keep it with a back and forth conversation. So, yeah, we ask people to mute up when they're not talking. So,
Paraplegic, fuck off.
You're not on mute. You're able to talk.
Off.
Y'all capping, all right.
Yeah, not a bot either.
She vacated.
Get out
of here. Damn it. I wanted everybody to sound off. Fuck.
It wouldn't have mattered anyway. Dumb as shit.
That what fuck people think? Like, just the room gets full because bots? Is that a thing? I don't fucking know anything about bots. I'm sorry.
Are you a loner if you only have bot friends?
See, there's a perfect example. If the room is botted, then why is everyone muted? Huh.
Jetty, how was that corned beef sandwich the other night?
Did it have sauerkraut on it? Was it a Reuben?
Jetty! He's stonewalling me.
Is that on rye? Pumpernickel?
No, we don't want to go into that again. It ruined the whole night, and then he left.
He's not leaving over pumpernickel.
To 11 o'clock on Wednesday, the storms continue to track east. I think we'll continue to see severe weather here from central Arkansas into central and southern Indiana. And this will continue, I think, all the way into the overnight hours and also into Thursday, where another round of severe weather is upcoming. And we'll have a lot more details on the severe weather risk both tomorrow, Wednesday, and as well as Thursday in our video forecast tomorrow morning once some of these computer models start to come in with the latest runs. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and click the bell icon so you're notified with the latest updates. But be ready. We're probably going to be live at least tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. We might also be live Friday, Saturday, depending on the evolution of those severe weather events. Oh, wait, there is even more stuff that is going to be happening with this severe weather event. We're not just talking about severe weather. We're also talking about a strong low pressure system back over in the Midwest down to around 985 millibars. That means gusty winds are likely across a large chunk of the Ohio Valley and deep south on Wednesday. There will also be a winter storm aspect to this in the northern plains and as well as the Midwest, where heavy snowfall and ice accumulation will once again be possible in parts of Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and the Dakotas. Eventually, by Thursday, this low-pressure system moves to the northeast, but we are not done with this storm system. Unfortunately, we are expecting a training area of showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, mainly in the mid-Mississippi River Valley, back over in western Tennessee and northeastern Arkansas, where we could be talking about a major flooding threat taking place beginning Wednesday and rolling all the way through the weekend. This one looks like by Thursday afternoon, that rain continues here across the Mississippi River Valley with severe weather also being a possibility. Friday, it continues. We continue to see showers and thunderstorms before yet again another low-pressure system forms on Saturday. This one will form back over in Texas, which will lead to even more heavy rainfall and severe weather across the southern plains and also back into the Ohio Valley. And then eventually by late Saturday into Sunday, this continues to move to the east, where there will continue to be at least a little bit more severe weather in addition to heavy rainfall. And I think things start to at least quiet down a little bit. I hate to use the word quiet, but I think it will quiet down as we go into the middle and end of next week, and we should see at least a quiet period. I would say for about 5 to 7 days, there will at least be some level of less.
Hey, we can hear your weather channel.
You can? I'm sorry. How can you hear that?
I have earbuds in, I guess.
Let me see. I thought that shouldn't come through. Let me try that again. Can you hear that?
Not that time.
What the heck?
Yeah, no, it's a negative now.
That's not right. Okay, thanks. Sorry about that.
I'd rather hear that than Yapendo snoring last night. He fell asleep.
Dude, somebody's got bionic hearing. I couldn't hear shit. Is that Jetty? You didn't tell us about your sandwich, damn it.
Where are the globe honkies, people? Let's hear it. Hush is back. Anybody?
What?
Represent the globe.
Oh.
Don't be shy. Got a lot of nice people here to talk to you.
Don't be scared.
Tell us about the gravity. Tell us what you like to do with 90-degree angles.
Can exercise an ounce of critical thinking.
Hello, is someone here? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, no one's here.
So I have a question.
What's your question?
So you believe in flat Earth, right?
No.
It's not a belief.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. I saw this one documentary of the final experiment. So how are you still claiming that there's a flat Earth when they did this experiment?
Because it measures flat.
Oh, so you have one proof on the other side which clearly says the Earth is a globe, and on the other side you have proof that the Earth is
The
flat.
final experiment was not an experiment, and it did not prove anything.
I mean, it proved that your idea of the flat Earth is completely bullshit, and the Earth
their idea. What they did was they took their globetard and they projected it using math into an AE projection, a top-down projection. Then they said, watch me slap a flat Earth sticker on this globe projection and then tell you it doesn't work now. What they did was they sunk their own battleship. What they should have done is said, hey, flat earthers, this concept of flat earth that we told you used when you didn't, it still works because the math works. You just got it right for the wrong reasons.
Okay, so how is it possible when we live on a flat earth that at some point the sun is not visible 24/7 and on another point it is?
Yeah, that's the question you need to think about.
Oh, so you just yapping and coping.
Listen.
No, that's your question that you should have had front loaded before you conducted any observation, hypothesis, or experiment. That would have been the question you asked, and then adjudicated that. What you did was you burnt the church, and you said, hey, I'm looking at the sun. You're like, well, don't do that. Okay, that's dumb. The sun is now telling you the surface of the earth is curved. And you're like, how? How did it say that? Because I could see it. Well, did you take an elevation angle? Well, yeah.
Okay, so obviously, there's got to be a globe. Otherwise, the sun wouldn't be visible at one point 24/7.
Because why?
Because when we live on a flat space, the sun shouldn't be visible at 24/7 at one.
Because
yeah, what's the root reason?
I mean, it's obvious, right? It's
no, because
wait, crit. He said it's obvious, dude. This guy's the flat Earth professor. If it's so obvious, why don't you explain why it's so obvious? Maybe there's something we missed out on. You got nothing.
You done fucked up, homie.
Is that it? Is it so obvious that we don't even get to know?
Didn't you just say it's so obvious and then run away?
Yeah, what a loser.
It's a turd burglar.
Why is it so obvious? Oh, I don't know. Leaves the channel.
Yo, guys, you got debunked, man.
Good afternoon, Critspiracy.
What up?
Nothing, dude. I was listening to that guy talking.
I mean, you know, we should be charitable, but she shouldn't be cursing.
Who's cursing?
I don't know. Apparently she was.
Who's she?
I think you're in the wrong channel.
Oh,
yeah, dumb fuck.
I had my headset off for a moment. Did I miss something?
Yeah, just some idiot joined the channel and like misclicked or something. And then continued on some sidebar conversation from a different channel. And then he was like, oh.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm the only female in here right now, and I was not cursing.
Nope.
We do need more hot chicks in here. It's like a damn Star Trek convention.
The females are still social distancing in every aspect. Gee, QE, I wonder if you have a show at 1 p.m. tomorrow.
One would never know.
No, I didn't get notified 3 different times.
You're lucky I cut it down from 6.
Oh, yeah.
Here's another one for you.
Time does that start in Guam?
Time it starts every time, 1 p.m. U.S. Central.
I've never seen this much lightning in Maryland. Dude, the skies lit up every freaking 3 seconds. Never seen this lightning. I've been here for 50 freaking 5 years.
Yeah, it was storming really bad this morning here. It was severe thunderstorms. It was lightning and thundering and raining. It was crazy.
Oh, is Quantum Eraser there?
Be careful what you ask for.
He's just what I want.
Kiwi, you have a suitor. A gentleman suitor.
What does that mean?
Well, I guess it's subjective. Would you like us to relay a claim or a message?
No.
Just wanted to say hi.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Okay, we got a QE simp. I'm just playing. I got called a Nathan simp today. And then I called the same person that called me a Nathan simp a Flatsy simp. So it's been a good day.
I heard you singing the other night, Flatsy.
Oh, yeah, I sure did, didn't I?
You sure did. Quite well.
Why, thank you kindly.
Good timing. Additionally.
When somebody asks Castle King to sing Crazy by Patsy Cline while Flatsy Cline is in the VC, there's something wrong.
You don't think Castle King has a lovely voice?
I think he does have a lovely voice, but I am Flatsy Cline. I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm kind of a big deal. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Got lots of leather-bound books.
Yes. The Anchorman. That's right.
About how many shy Globers do we have in here? %? Anybody want to step in the ring? Come on.
Are you looking for proof?
Of?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Proof's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd say, yeah, it's a good thing to look for.
I don't think we're going to be getting any of that at the Globe.
Is that right? None?
I don't think so.
How disappointing. So you're saying over and over that'll be the result?
Yeah, it's been my experience this whole time. Every time you ask for proof, you don't get it.
So you're saying there's not been one shred of global proof?
Hell no.
Nope.
What about gravity? Surely that's proved.
What's gravity?
Yeah, what is that?
I'd like to know where it is myself, but certainly it's proven.
No, it's not. What is it? Keep saying the word "it's proven." That doesn't sound very confident.
Well, don't pictures from space prove everything?
Hell no.
Why not?
The pictures of my unicorn prove everything?
Hmm.
You take a picture of Santa Claus with me on his lap?
Hmm.
How about the Easter Bunny?
I have wondered why Santa's in all of the department stores at the same time.
Pretty weird, huh?
Yeah.
But he's a real person. You can touch him and test him and see if he's a real guy. Go see if he breathes, drinks water, and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Or were you when you sat on his lap, though? That's
Yeah.
That too. I'm just saying you can test it out.
If you were
Yeah,
over
but
18,
you can't sit on gravity's lap. Yeah, you can't sit on gravity's lap. You can't sit on gas pressure's lap with no container. You can't.
Now, hold on. We all know that gravity is deep underground, and it's a very strong 16-mile pulling force called the gravitational center. Which means that's right, that's where gravity's at, deep underground.
So it's
very
not
center.
in you? What about your center?
Well, your gravity as well. So
your gravity is underground?
All gravity is in the deep center, Earth, right?
No. Your gravity would be in the deep center of you. You have your own center of mass. That's the portion of mass that would be reacting to the other center of mass.
So now, what's being said here is that if we remove gravity and you jump up in the air, you're going to keep going.
No, you're not. No, listen. If I write gravity down on the chalkboard and I write nothing on the chalkboard, both of those words have the same power in physical reality. So if you take gravity off the chalkboard, you're still doing the same thing. You're not going to fly away. You're still walking around. You're good to go. Take nothing off the chalkboard. You're still going to walk around. You're still doing good. Now, Earth is flat on the chalkboard. You're still walking around in the physical attributes of flat Earth, and there is no gravity, and you're doing fine. Helium goes up. Heavy stuff goes down. You're still walking on the dirt. The air is up, not down to the ground.
All right, D-Monk. Now, what you're telling me is bold. So what you're telling me by your statement is, one, gravity is fake, and two, it's an unnecessary factor.
Yes,
well,
sir.
One, you'd have to prove that gravity is the thing you say it is.
What would gravity be a factor in? Exactly. So right now, I want to do something in my house. How can I let gravity do it for me since it's such a great thing? And it does all this stuff. If gravity does everything, like makes planets, breaks planets, holds them in orbit, puts them together, Lagrangian point, moves them, and all this other stuff, show me in my house.
I don't even think that he thinks that, because he said it's in the center of Earth. Now, that would exclude like all the other shit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I've been told gravity does all kinds of stuff, but he's trying to trick me and say gravity's just a magic thing just in the center of the rock of Earth. So I'm confused now.
I'm not sure he knows what gravity is.
Yeah, hell no. Wait, who are we cooking right now?
Well, now, this is Roto. But now, hold on. So what we're saying is that gravity is a mixture.
What you're saying is gravity. Like, now, what is gravity?
Well, I'm just representing. Okay, so to get it clear.
Yeah, but what is this thing that you're claiming that is? What is it?
Well, I'll describe it. So it's a mixture of known elements on the periodic table in the very center. And what happens is when it's heated up, whatever
Center of
mixture
what?
of these elements, whatever, really Curie point of, let's say iron, because iron's in there.
Well, the Curie point has got nothing to do with gravity.
Well, somehow it gets to this heat, okay? Probably through some sort of
How do you?
compaction.
Sorry, you're talking about center of things and heat, and you've got no representation of that.
Okay. But then it starts spinning perpetually.
No, you're telling a story. You're adding on to the first thing about the story is the center of.
Well, now it's not the first time you've heard this story.
Well, it is. Your first part of the story was gravity, and then the second part was in the center of, and now the third part is that all these elements are in the center of this thing that you just made up, and then now you're talking about Curie points, and now you're talking about it spinning. You've got five.
Yeah.
You got 5 stories that you just made up.
I'd say that Brodo is playing a good Glober. Good job, Brodo. You're playing a good Glober.
Should we still cook them?
Thanks, Flatsy. Yeah, grill up. I'm bringing the best of the globe. But these are known elements in the very center. Okay? It is affecting most assuredly the center of the globe.
Where's that?
The what?
The dead center of the oblate spheroid.
How can you get a center of an oblate?
You guys are pretty sharp, but let me continue. This pulling force is going to pull through layers and miles.
What pulling? Can you demonstrate the pulling force?
It's kind of like magnetism.
Oh, here we go.
So gravity is magnetism.
Well, you won't find any mimicry on the surface of Earth. But yeah, it's kind of like magnetism. It pulls everything without any kind of, it doesn't discriminate.
What about gas?
What about gas?
This force will pull every known element on the periodic table.
What about air?
Gas? What about gas? Hydrogen, helium?
It'll pull light. Hey, we don't even have to more than it'll pull light.
You're talking about mass attracting mass, and you're saying it'll pull light. Yeah, sure.
Bruh.
It pulls
everything. Flatsy, do you know him? Do you? Is he playing a Globo?
It pulls light.
Because he's doing a Globo thing and Gish galloping. So.
He's on the fence, he says. So
on the fence.
What?
In the closet.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
No, but get this: with gravity, he can pull light into that dark closet
through miles back.
Then wouldn't black holes just be masses of light?
Also, as the oblate spheroid, the exact gravitational center pulls equally as if a perfect sphere. So what it does is it pulls all plumb bobs to the exact center. Now we're talking about the size of a walnut.
Why are plumb bobs not directly straight down then?
Well, because they're perpendicular to a circle. Okay. Now what they're going to do is pull.
If you have a circle, then you'd have not straight plumb lines. If you had. If your gravity is due to mass, then you'd have bendy plumb lines.
Well, we certainly have diverging plumb lines pulling to the exact center, disregarding any oblateness or chubby bottoms.
But they wouldn't. They wouldn't be straight. Then they wouldn't be straight lines. They'd be squiggly plumb lines.
They only look like they measure parallel, but what they really do is pull to the exact center, like I'm saying, through all this rock.
But what
if building inspectors are for? Building inspectors are for the bendy plumb lines.
What if on the left?
Inspect them.
What if on the left you've got sand and on the right you've got like volcanic rock, would it veer towards the right?
No, because it knows what it's going through. It knows if there's a hill, it knows if there's a valley. It makes a distinction between these things. Okay? You can always count on for them to be divergent, however. Now that means all of your horizontals, okay, are going to be an arced parallel. And they are going to be a frowny face.
I got a question for you.
These are the straight lines of the grid.
Yeah, I got a question for you.
That's done.
You can't have straight lines on a globe, man.
I got a question for you, dude.
Go ahead.
Who's it? Is this guy RotoOx?
Yeah, exit, man.
Okay, RotoOx. You said Light knows. When did Light become conscious and learn how to do its own pathing?
Gravity knows.
So gravity knows now.
Gravity is the boss. Doesn't care who you are, what you are, or where you came from. Doesn't even matter if you're in the troposphere. You can be in the vacuum of space, and it's still the boss. It's pulling the moon. That's how we get orbits, dude.
So how do I meet the boss? I'd like to meet the boss.
You got to dig deep, right to the center.
The center of what?
Of the Earth.
The center of the moon, between you and the moon, the center of that. How is it pulling the moon from the center of the Earth if it's not leaving the center of the Earth?
That's why it's the boss, man.
Doesn't make any sense.
You can't do without it. It affects everything. You can act like you can remove it from every equation that calls for it, and then everything will still net out the same, but it won't. Okay?
So that's called nothing. Remember that word nothing I told you, the zero number? For the force of gravity, if we want to quantify the force of it, that we can see do work, physical, actual work in front of us, what number can we put for the force? That'd be zero. That's why I wrote nothing on the chalkboard for you in the beginning. I was trying to teach you. So if you take nothing away from the equation, you're left with the same thing that you started from. So you took gravity out of the equation, which does nothing. Now what are you left with? The physical attributes of nature and action, reaction. High to low, hot to cold, positive to negative. Magnetics, all that. It all falls into all. Oh yeah.
Look, gravity.
Where?
Just to give you an example, in the center of the Earth, man. How many times I got to keep telling you? Now listen. Granted, we are going.
How do you get there? How do you know what gravity is to test it? How do you know when you found gravity? What is it?
It's documented on paper in places.
So are unicorns and Bigfoot and one-eyed monsters and Anunnakis and Egyptians and space debris and aliens coming from Mawa.
I'm about to school you. Now, here's why gravity is the boss. Because even though it's 16 miles wide, through the thousands of miles of rock, it will pull everything down true, but it also acts as a barrier. Okay, so it's like an impenetrable shield over all the air, like a container. Now, even though we are traveling over 500,000 miles per hour, which means in the length of this conversation talking about this, we've already gone 1 million miles. Now, you may not feel like you perceive that. That's because gravity, the boss, is giving this barrier so it doesn't split your hair apart. Okay, without that barrier. So it's a pulling force / barrier. That's why it's the big boss. You can't live without it.
The word The thing that you can't touch, feel, or see actually physically do anything. But you
Or
say down in
scientifically
somebody's
prove.
heart. Brother, you can't prove the center of Earth.
It's like magnetism.
What is?
Except
You already said that.
Except unlike magnetism, you can't jack with it.
What does
So
that
it's
mean?
God?
It's untouchable.
Okay, so you can't prove it, is what you're saying.
Go outside is all you have to do.
What?
Yeah.
What?
All you have to do is go outside.
What kind of response is that?
Look, if you go outside, you can see the curve from an airplane window.
I've never seen the curve from an airplane window before. And I've been in a plane quite a few times.
You can see the curve from the shore of a beach with a boat going over the horizon. It's obvious. It's what you're looking at. There's no other option. When a boat disappears on the horizon, the only option, it's locked in, man, is that it's going over a hill. It can't be anything else.
It's going over a hill of water?
Mm-hmm.
Show us in your backyard with a little boat or on an actual sphere how that looks. And make sure the boat doesn't tilt forward.
Look,
make
you
sure
may
it's
think
perfectly
it's something
horizontal.
like
Hold on.
You may think
You got to make sure the
okay.
boat's perfectly horizontal as it goes over the curve, up vertically, perfectly plumb, not diverging or converging or tilting away. That's because on Earth, the boat's not tilting away, brother. We're not seeing the front of the boat only and not the back. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the water to hide half the fucking boat itself. Actually, half, according to the physical property of the boat. The top of the boat would be tipped up to the air. That'd be the last thing you see. Just like an airplane, if it's going around a sphere, you don't see it to where you can't never see the belly. Eventually, as it goes around the curve 3 miles away, you'd see the belly pop up and appear to you, facing you, not going that away to where you can't see the words underneath it anymore. Welcome to Flat Earth. Because all you need is a little handy dandy telescope.
Even though
handy dandy telescope, zoom in at any jet or any object that you can see the bottom of how it's going kamikaze around the sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what we're looking for. Not a magic boat on the wall. Hold on. We're looking for a helicopter, hot air balloon, or any object to go that way and actually go and tilt around the sphere. Let's take a peek at any video you got, and we'll need side views also. Because if you don't have a side view, you don't have a curve. Because if you can't give me a picture of the side view of the hill in your backyard, then I'm not going to say it exists. Looking forward's not helping you.
Even though something like the Rayleigh criterion
If it doesn't have
explains
a side view, you don't have any criterion. What are you following? What's the attribute? What are the physical attribute and the principalities of the attributes you have to follow for your principal idea of this shit to work in the physical reality along the surface of water? Do you have a side view showing us this criterion? Any of it. Refraction, any of the shit. Anything with a side view will be necessary.
if anything is loomed back into focus where it should be miles dropped over the curve, it's because it's being loomed up for miles.
You don't have anything doing that. You don't have a sphere anywhere. If the water
when
you're
you say
looking at,
should, you need a measurement for that. So you don't have a
if the
should.
water, if the water you're looking at is horizontal, right, and you don't have that spherical reference that you're talking about, you don't have that. The side view would give us that you have that. Now, if we could look at the side view and the front view, compare the two, and see that the side view is actually experiencing a hump of something physical, then we'll be on the same page. We would say, damn, the side view shows that boat going down, and there's a curve higher than the boat of water to the left of it, the boat. Curve of water higher than the boat to the left of it. What we're looking for, brother. Or right.
Gravity bends all of that.
Well,
anything you might see
view,
miles
brother.
past what you're supposed to is just looming. And if you had a telescope and you looked through it and it was a good enough telescope, you could see the back of your head.
I'll wait for that proof too. We'll wait for that proof so you can prove a globe. When telescopes are junk, and then they're not seeing shit. And then we'll wait for the other proof also of a side view, of a spherical attribute or something. And we'll all take a look at what happens with a spherical object when it actually goes down around an actual curve.
All right, let's loop back
in your backyard or a globe. Side view.
Without gravity, why wouldn't you just fly off into space when you jump up?
Because gravity is an ignorant word, and the only thing they were trying to say is how do I get your weight? How do I weigh things? Now, to weigh